So these are 10 things that someone should have at least told me about before getting into software development. And today I'm going to be giving you this piece of information for free, but you have to subscribe to this channel. So to begin with, my name is Hannah and I'm a software developer here in Ghana. I have been a software developer for over a year, or almost a year, and I have quite a lot of experience in being a software developer, which you can trust. And I'm going to be taking you through this journey of explaining to you some 10 tips that you need to know about before becoming a software developer. So firstly, let's talk about JavaScript. I know there's a lot of noise about JavaScript. Whenever someone tweets about JavaScript, the whole world gets to know about it. And it is because JavaScript is used broadly. So it is a language that you need to master as soon as possible. If you would want to start with some simple languages like C++, make sure that you're adding on JavaScript to the languages that you are studying, because now the world is advancing and JavaScript seems to be a very important language to most fields in IT, and you definitely want to learn about JavaScript if you're looking to be a software developer. Secondly, you would also have to find an interest in where you want to be. So I remember when I was in school, in the university specifically, we used to have a lot of debate about learning everything or learning one thing. It is most definitely important to learn one thing and be a master of it, even though there are chances for you to expand your scope of knowledge when you know enough. But if you don't know anything at all, make sure you're targeting one skill and hammer on it till you become good at it, not to become perfect. Just be good enough to be able to express yourself confidently in that language or in that skill that you're looking to delve more into. So thirdly, I'm going to tell you to learn version control systems early. Learn how to manage the code that you write and learn how to push the code that you write onto a cloud system where you can be able to use to revert every code that you have written. So this is a story of me learning to code on Treehouse, and I was using Visual Studio Code at that time, and I was always writing the code and not pushing it anywhere, and it was always very difficult to manage the code that I was writing, because then every time that I lost anything, I wasn't able to retrieve it or to see any instance of it anyway. Then I decided to learn GitHub, learn its commands, and make use of it. So this is a very good way for me to be able to have a good control system of the codes that I'm writing, and it can help you a ton of time in trying to revisit some of the codes that you may have written in the past. So it is a very good tool if you're really looking to be a software developer. So these next 3 tips are going to be about finding and landing a job in software development. So point number 4 is about finding a job. And one of the things that you have to be mindful of is about openness. Show your work publicly. Do not try to hide what you're doing because you're shy or because you feel not there enough, or that you don't have the skill enough. One of the things that you have to realize is that people are watching you, people are seeking after you, and it's up to you to show them what you have, show them publicly what you are doing. LinkedIn comes in here to help you to be able to do that. You have to show your code publicly, show the progress of the work that you are doing publicly. You can decide to put your code on GitHub and share it on LinkedIn, which is a good platform for people to connect with you professionally and even get your first job. And it is very easy to use LinkedIn. I've shared most tips on how to use LinkedIn effectively in my previous videos. You can check that out if you want to, but showing your work publicly will put you in a good position to get hired very fast, because then people can reach out to you based on the journey that you are on. And it is so good if you decide to do this at an early stage, so that you become confident to share the projects that you have worked on publicly, so that everyone can see your project and assist you any way that they can. So on to the 5th point, you have to know your value. So this is another story of me trying to get a job, and I have a recruiter in my DM asking me how much I would be willing to take for a salary, and I was so confused because at that time I didn't know the market value for the role that I was being offered, and I didn't know what amount to say. So one of the things that I got to learn from a friend on LinkedIn was to know your worth, know your value, know how much your time is worth, and present it to anybody who is willing to offer you anything. I'm going to be talking about this much deeper, but on face value you should know your worth and know how much to mention to anyone who is asking you you of the salary that you are willing to take. So next, which is my set point still on landing and finding a job, is to be nice. Present the nicest personality of yourself as much as possible. Know that you are selling yourself when you are being interviewed. Sell yourself in a very, very good way. Sell yourself as though you were a scarce commodity on the market, and that if anyone didn't purchase you, they were losing out on a lot of things. And this is one thing that people should be mindful of, because you don't sell your code. You don't sell your code to a recruiter. Just because you're able to write few lines of code to perform the same action as someone who writes long lines of code doesn't mean that you are better off than them. This is one of the debates that I have had with my present boss about what makes a good developer. Maybe I can make a video about it, but for now I'm just trying to put across to you that learn to sell yourself in the best way possible, because then the recruiters are not looking at your code. Most of the technical interviews that people go through to get tech jobs doesn't fully cover the reason why they were hired. Most of the time depends on your personality, the soft skills that you have, and other things that may not even be related to being a developer, but they are necessary in your journey as a person trying to solve problems to clients or to people out there. So the next 4 tips, I'm going to be talking about money and how to sustain the job of a software developer, and so that you don't get too burnt out too quickly, because being a software developer is a really difficult job, because coding is so hard. After 1 year of being a software developer, I totally understand how difficult coding can be. Let's be mindful here. Coding is very hard, and being a software developer is very cool. So how do we manage a very difficult job with having a cool job title as being a software developer? So let's do this. So when it comes to salary, definitely I would always advise, don't mention a value yet until you know what your recruiter is willing to offer. So one of the mistakes that people do is that they always present what they want to take in mind, right? They have in mind, maybe, so from the perspective of the Ghanaian currency, let's say 2,000 cedis, you tell a recruiter that you want to take 2,000 cedis at the end of the month. It is so bad for you to mention the figure before the recruiter says anything. Always wait to hear what the recruiter is offering before you come across with your amount, because most of the time, even about 80% of the time, what you could be offered is more than what you are literally thinking of. Even though there are cases that you could be offered less, always wait to hear what your recruiter is willing to offer before you make any price, because tech is rich, right? So definitely people would come off with a lot of money, but I mean, don't get it all wrong. There are literally small businesses or small startups who are just starting and may not be able to offer the amount that you want, but don't make the mistake of trying to present an offer before the offer is being made to you. So this leads us to point number 8, where we are still talking about money, and the tip is that always negotiate. I have heard this literally 1,000 times on Twitter. That reminds me, if you don't follow me on Twitter, please do, because thank you. I don't know why, but just do. And the act of negotiating is so crucial that I still wonder why I didn't do it in my first instance of being offered a job. So there was this point in my life, another story, where I was offered a job by a small company, a very small company. They had literally, I think, 5 to 10 people in that office, and they were making me an offer, right? And I knew that I didn't like that offer. I really didn't want to take that offer, and I didn't have the courage to negotiate. So I still wonder to this day why I didn't do it, but you have to negotiate if you don't like what you are being offered. So don't take it that you are going to offend the recruiter if you try to bring up the topic of negotiating. People actually bring it up themselves and offer you the opportunity to negotiate with them on the salary. You can decide to take it or not, but the good advice is that always take it, because it will always come in your favor. You would always receive what you are asking. You would always be listened to, because they are hiring you here. They are in search of your skill, or in need of the skill that you are presenting to them. And negotiating is your strong key here. It's something that you can pull the strings of if you are good at it. Learn to negotiate more than you are offered. Even if the offer is good, sometimes it's advised that you still go ahead to negotiate, because there's so much more that you could be making than the present amount that you are being offered, even though the offer seems good to you. Always take advantage of that and negotiate your salary. Point number 9 is that you're not an island and you need to learn to communicate with other developers, because most tech firms are based on teams, and you need to be able to communicate perfectly with your teammates, with your colleagues at work, build a good rapport with them, a good relationship, learn to offer help or get help when you need one. And it will go a long way to establish a good relationship with the people that you work with. And you have to realize that you are literally in need of everybody's skill on the team, because you don't know it all. And you don't really have to know it all, so take advantage of that. Learn from the people that you are working with, and then allow them to learn from you as well. Offer as much assistance as you can to other people on the team, and also give out help when it's being needed. This leads us to point number 10. And before we talk about that, please do subscribe to my channel, because I'm trying to hit 500 subscribers before the end of 2022, and your subscription will help me get there and allow lots of people on the internet to find my video, so they can also share in this knowledge. So please do all to subscribe to my channel. So tip number 10 is that don't stress too much. Rome wasn't built in a day, and you can't learn the whole of JavaScript in one day or in 1 week. It should be a criminal act to learn JavaScript in 1 week, and it's a very difficult thing to learn. Honestly, from a developer, I'm telling you that coding is hard, and you don't have to stress so much about learning everything in one instance. Even after a year of being a developer, there are still things that I don't know, and I may not even know some more things even after being a developer for another 1 year. So relax, take your time, but then push yourself to the challenges that you set for yourself, but don't stress too much. Try to avoid lots of burnout as much as possible. Take your breaks, go on leave, go to vacation, go to Dubai, give me an invite and I'll come with you. And enjoy the process, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.